Hey everyone, I'm Philip.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia. We're back again to bring you yet another Naval Academy related video. We're just on a roll today. For this video, we're going to talk about service selection.
Yeah, so service selection is something that everyone at the Naval Academy goes through no matter what. You sign your 2-for-7s after your second year at the Naval Academy, and at that point, you're committed pending anything crazy happening. So, 2-for-7s is saying you've been at the Academy for 2 of your 4 years, you're going to do 2 more, and then you're going to serve your 5 years of whatever service assignment you get selected to. At least 5 years. If you're a pilot, it might be more like double that.
Right. Or if you love it, you can do 30, 40 years and be the next admiral.
Yes, those numbers I was saying were just minimums. So.
Right. So first you have the big four categories. We're going to talk about the big four and some other smaller options. So first you have the Marine Corps. So the Marine Corps, you can be Marine Corps ground or Marine Corps pilot, but that's going to depend on after you select Marine Corps. You have surface warfare, which means they're going to be on a ship, and there's like a subcategory is nuke SWO, which is what we are, but you're still on a ship. And then you have submariners. You're in a submarine, and you have Navy pilot. You can be the pilot who's actually flying, or NFO, which is a Navy flight officer who's like sits behind the pilot, providing the pilot data and informations. So those are the big four categories.
Yeah, and below that, there are a ton of subcategories. For these subcategories, they're either really exclusive and hard to get into because maybe only a couple dozen or less than 10, even for some of these people get into, or you have to be disqualified in some sort of way. Like, probably before you get to the Naval Academy, you'll find out, but like some people at the Academy find out, like, hey, this thing is wrong with me during, the screening processes over the 4 years. And that changes. Like they don't, it's not so bad that to the point where they get kicked out, but it restricts what they can service select. So maybe they can only be a supply officer, for example. They aren't going to be an unrestricted line like all the things Julia was talking about, like a SWO, a surface warfare officer.
Right. So just a little bit distinction here, restricted versus unrestricted line. So unrestricted line is, the conventional warhead on forehead warfighters. So, like what we talk about aviators, pilots, aviators, submariners, SWOs, Marines, and unrestricted line, you are helping the warfighters, like supply officers, chaplain, medical corps. You're helping the warfighters. That's why you're restricted corps.
Yeah. And so with that, just to kind of give you an idea, like some numbers wise, for some of you who love numbers, there are about 1,000 people at the Naval Academy that graduate, maybe a little bit more. We had a little bit less. Our year was special. But yeah, you probably start with about 1,200 or so, probably lose, 100 or two over the course of the 4 years. So we'll say you're graduating with about 1,000. A quarter of those right away, 25% going Marine Corps. That's pretty standard every year. Another quarter of those are going surface warfare. So that's half the Naval Academy. Another quarter are going pilot. That's 75%. Then out of that last 25%, you'll probably have about half those go submarines. And then that leaves that last little eighth there. That is where you're going to see all a wide variety of things. Just to give you a quick list, you could have SEALs, for example. You could have EOD, explosive ordnance disposal, cryptologic warfare, intel, IP, which is information professional, MedCorps, CWE, cyber warfare engineer, supply, like we mentioned. There were only 4 supply from 2022. So that's a restricted line. It's very hard to get, and you probably need to have some special circumstances. You can be a civil engineer, oceanography, there were 2. Marine Corps has a few special ones as well. Marine Corps cyber, for example. There were only a handful of those as well. So these special ones are really sought after by a ton of people at the Academy, and they're very competitive and hard to get.
Right. Let's say there are less than 30 Navy SEAL spots every year. However, there are plenty of guys who want to, be the next Fast and Furious Navy Spec War people. So if you put Navy SEAL EOD as a first preference, there's a chance you might get drafted. So every year there's a submarine and a SWO draft. So there's always too many people who put pilot or spec war or medical corps, as their first option. The big Navy gets a first say on what you get. Navy's need comes before your personal preference. So, some people are doomed to be disappointed. I know a lot of people who don't want to go submarine or SWO, unfortunately, get drafted. But, it might not be so bad.
Yeah, with that, I do want to say I had a friend at the academy who really, really wanted to go SEALs. Their screeners you go through, he was going through all of them, checking the boxes, passing. But in the end, he just didn't make the cut because they only take probably less than 30 people out of, the hundreds or maybe a couple hundred who really want to go, depending on your year. And he wanted it so bad, he went surface and he changed his service selection later on. So after you go surface and you qualify and get your pin, maybe a year or two later, you can try and apply again and change.
With that being said, it's gonna be very, very difficult and challenging. Yeah. If you do that, you have to put your career first before relationship, before other things. You have to be very committed. So if that's still what you want to do, I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, but he does have a girlfriend and he's doing great. And yeah, he did end up changing to SEALs, which is what he really wanted. So if you want it, don't be super upset if you get service selection and you don't get what you wanted. I had another friend who got his 5th choice. They always they try to reassure people before going into service selection, hey, most people get their top 3 choices. I think it's 80 something % get their top choice or something, top 2 at least. It's something super high. And my buddy, he got his 5th choice to the point where they had to give him a call before service selection to let him know hey, heads up, yeah, you didn't get what you wanted, or the 2nd or the 3rd or the 4th, you got the 5th. And he actually, like Julia was talking about, went submarines and got drafted. And he was pretty upset about that for a while.
And he still doesn't like submarine, but it's okay. You can get out at the 5-year mark. You still have great job experience. You still did something good with your time. You still got a free education. So even if you didn't get what you want, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
you'll still be okay in the end.
Yeah, he's almost done with his submarine portion. Then he gets to go to a shore tour, and then he gets to get out and doesn't have to go on a submarine again. So yeah. It could be worse. And subs send you through nuclear power school, the thing we're going through right now for the surface side, the exact same school, and it's an awesome school to have after the Navy as well.
Right. All right. So thank you for listening to us about the service selection. If you're interested in learning more, you can go to usna.edu and just look up service selection, or the internet's out there. There's a lot of information on the internet. And if you have any very specific questions or regarding someone's experience, you can leave a comment below and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, thanks. See you in the next one. Bye.